In the quiet town of Millbrook, where the sea whispers against rocky shores, Emma Parker's life moved like a carefully calculated routine. At 28, she carried the weight of responsibility on her slender shoulders, her dreams tucked away in the corners of her modest heart. Every morning before the town stirred, Emma would wake up in her small cottage. The wooden floors creaked beneath her feet as she prepared breakfast for her mother, Margaret, whose health had been fragile since her husband's passing years ago. The kitchen was a sanctuary of love, where simple meals were prepared with extraordinary care. Her job at Baker's Corner was more than just a means of earning money. It was her lifeline, her connection to the community that had watched her grow. The bakery, with its warm bread and sweet pastries, was a place where local stories were kneaded and baked alongside dough. Emma's hands moved with practiced efficiency, creating delicate cakes and crusty loaves that brought smiles to people's faces. But beneath her calm exterior, Emma harbored a secret dream. She wanted to be a nurse. Not just any nurse, but the kind of healthcare professional who understood that healing went beyond medical treatments. Her mother's years of illness had shown her the importance of compassionate care, of holding a hand. When words failed, financial challenges had always been her greatest obstacle. Medical bills had consumed most of their savings, and her mother's ongoing treatments left little room for personal aspirations. Emma had learned to be practical, to put family needs before her own dreams. The town of Millbrook was small but tight-knit. Everyone knew everyone, and secrets were rare commodities. Her best friend Thomas, a local schoolteacher, was the only one who truly understood her hidden ambitions. On quiet evenings when her mother would rest, Thomas would sit with her discussing medical terminologies and sharing books about healthcare. "How you have a gift, Emma," Thomas would say, his eyes filled with genuine belief. "Your compassion is your greatest strength. But life has its own unpredictable rhythm." One crisp November morning, everything changed. The bakery owner called Emma into his small office, his face marked with concern. Economic challenges were forcing him to make difficult decisions, and her job was suddenly uncertain. The world seemed to pause in that moment. Emma's mind raced through scenarios: medical bills, her mother's care, her own dreams. How could she manage if she lost this job? The stability she had carefully constructed felt like a fragile glass sculpture, ready to shatter. Her hands, usually steady while kneading dough, now trembled slightly. She thought about her mother, about the promises she had made to herself. Giving up was never an option, but the path ahead looked increasingly challenging. The bakery's warm atmosphere suddenly felt cold. Customers continued to chat, unaware of the personal storm brewing within Emma's world. She had always been good at hiding her emotions, at presenting a calm facade even when internal struggles threatened to overwhelm her. That evening, as she walked home, the sea seemed to mirror her turbulent emotions. Waves crashed against rocks, sometimes gentle, sometimes fierce, much like her own life's journey. The setting sun painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, a reminder that even in uncertainty, there was beauty. Her mother waited at home, wrapped in a soft blanket, her eyes bright with love. Margaret might have been ill, but her spirit remained unbroken. She sensed something was different in Emma's demeanor. "What's troubling you, my dear?" Margaret asked, her voice soft but perceptive. Emma sat beside her, holding her hand. "Just another day, Mother," she said, her voice steady. But inside she was making a promise to herself. This setback would not define her. She would find a way, create a path where none seemed to exist. Little did Emma know that this moment of uncertainty was actually the beginning of a transformative journey. The challenges ahead would test her resilience, her courage, and her unwavering spirit. But true strength is not about avoiding difficulties, but about how one responds to them. The night settled over Millbrook, quiet and contemplative, holding the secrets of Emma's emerging story. The weeks following the bakery's uncertainty were a test of Emma's resolve. Winter had settled over Millbrook, bringing cold winds and even colder economic challenges. Her job remained uncertain, hanging by a thread as delicate as the morning frost. Thomas, her faithful friend, became her unexpected source of hope. One chilly afternoon, he arrived at her cottage with a newspaper, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "Look," he said, pointing to a small advertisement tucked away in the community section. A local community college was offering a nursing scholarship. The program targeted mature students, those who had faced life's challenges and still dared to dream. The deadline was just weeks away, and the competition would be fierce. Most applicants were young, fresh out of high school, with fewer responsibilities, and more time. Emma's first instinct was to dismiss the opportunity. How could she possibly manage? Her mother needed constant care, her job was unstable, and money was tight. But Thomas saw something in her that she had begun to doubt. Potential. "You've been caring for your mother for years," he argued. "Who understands healthcare better than you? Your life experience is your greatest strength." Late at night, after her mother had fallen asleep, Emma would study. The kitchen table became her classroom. Old medical books borrowed from Thomas, online resources, and her own determination became her teachers. She practiced medical terminologies, studied basic healthcare principles, and allowed herself to believe just for a moment that this dream might be possible. Her mother noticed the change. Despite her illness, Margaret's eyes would light up watching her daughter study. "You have your father's spirit," she would say, her voice filled with pride. Her father, a local firefighter who had died years ago, had always believed in pursuing one's dreams against all odds. The scholarship application was a mountain of paperwork. Emma filled out each form carefully, her handwriting neat and precise. She wrote about her years of caring for her mother, her passion for helping others, her understanding of compassionate healthcare. Thomas helped her review the application, offering suggestions and encouragement. The community of Millbrook began to notice. Mrs. Henderson from the local grocery store would slip her extra bread, knowing times were tough. The postman would share encouraging words. In this small town, dreams were communal efforts. As the application deadline approached, Emma's anxiety grew. Some nights, she would wake up panicking, convinced she wasn't good enough. But Thomas would remind her of her strength, of the countless nights she had nursed her mother back to health, of her natural ability to care for others. The day she mailed. The application felt like a turning point. She walked to the post office, the envelope feeling heavy with hope and possibility. The postal worker, Mr. Jenkins, gave her a knowing smile. "Sending something important?" he asked. "A dream," Emma replied, her voice quiet but firm. Weeks of waiting followed. Each day felt like a year. Emma continued working at the bakery, continued caring for her mother, continued studying whenever she could. She learned to live in a space between hope and realistic expectation. Thomas would visit regularly, bringing small treats from the school canteen, offering words of support. "Whatever happens," he would say, "you've already achieved something remarkable by trying." Her mother's health became a source of unexpected motivation. On good days, Margaret would share stories about her own dreams, about the challenges she had faced. "Life is not about waiting for the storm to pass," she would tell Emma. "It's about learning to dance in the rain." As winter began to fade and early spring flowers started to bloom, Emma realized something important. The scholarship was more than just financial support. It was a validation of her journey, of her resilience, of her unwavering spirit. The letter, when it finally arrived, would change everything. But in that moment of waiting, Emma had already won something far more precious, the belief in her own potential. The small cottage in Millbrook held its breath, waiting for destiny to unfold. The morning the scholarship committee called was unlike any other in Emma's life. Millbrook was wrapped in a soft spring maze, with gentle sunlight filtering through her cottage windows. Her mother was sleeping peacefully, and the kitchen carried the quiet anticipation of something extraordinary. Emma's hands trembled as she picked up the phone. The voice on the other end was professional, yet warm. They wanted her to come for an interview, a chance to share her story, her dreams, her journey. Thomas helped her prepare. They spent hours practicing potential questions, selecting a modest but professional outfit from her limited wardrobe. Her best blue dress, carefully pressed, became a symbol of her hopes. "You've lived what others only read about," Thomas reminded her, straightening her collar. The community college was a modest building, surrounded by spring flowers and young trees. Emma felt like an outsider among younger applicants. most barely out of high school. Their nervous chatter filled the waiting room, but she remained calm, her years of caring for her mother having taught her patience. When her turn came, Emma walked into the interview room with measured steps. 3 committee members sat before her, 2 women and 1 older gentleman. Their eyes were kind but evaluative. They didn't just want to hear her words, they wanted to understand her journey. "Tell us why you want to become a nurse," the lead interviewer asked. Emma took a deep breath. She spoke about her mother's long illness, about the nurses who had shown compassion during difficult hospital visits. She talked about understanding healthcare not just as a medical profession, but as a calling of human connection. Her story wasn't about academic achievements or perfect grades. It was about real-life experience, about understanding human vulnerability. She described nights spent caring for her mother, managing complex medical routines, understanding the emotional landscape of illness. The interviewers exchanged glances. Emma's authenticity was compelling. She wasn't presenting a rehearsed speech, but sharing her genuine heart. Her practical experience, her emotional intelligence, set her apart from traditional candidates. Questions came about her ability to manage studies with her mother's care. Emma explained her support system, Thomas, her supportive community, her own determination. She spoke about creating schedules, about finding strength in challenges. Outside, spring winds played with tree branches. Inside that small room, Emma was rewriting her life's narrative. Each word was a brushstroke, painting a picture of possibility. The interview lasted 45 minutes, but it felt like both an eternity and a moment. When she walked out, Emma felt different. Regardless of the outcome, she had spoken her truth. Weeks of waiting followed. Emma continued her bakery work, continued caring for her mother, her heart balanced between hope and realistic expectation. Thomas would visit, bringing small encouragements, sharing tea and quiet conversations. Her mother, sensing the significance of this moment, would hold Emma's hand. "Whatever happens," Margaret would say, "you've already shown courage." The letter arrived on a Tuesday morning, a thick envelope, official letterhead. Emma's hands shook as she opened it, her mother watching from her favorite armchair. Thomas stood nearby, his presence a silent support. The words seemed to dance before her eyes. Not just a scholarship, but a partial tuition waiver. Her dream was no longer a distant wish but an approaching reality. Tears came not of sadness but of pure, overwhelming hope. Her mother wept too, her frail hands reaching out to touch her daughter's face. Thomas stepped forward, offering a warm embrace. In that moment, Millbrook seemed to pause. The sea outside, the quiet streets, the spring flowers, everything celebrated Emma's triumph. It wasn't just a personal victory, but a testament to resilience, to the power of believing in oneself. Emma had transformed a challenging life circumstance into an opportunity. Her journey was proving that dreams don't have an age limit, that determination could reshape destiny. The small cottage buzzed with newfound hope, a lighthouse of inspiration for everyone who dared to dream. 3 years had passed since Emma first walked into the community college, her heart filled with hope and determination. Now wearing her crisp white nursing uniform, she stood ready to graduate. A dream once thought impossible, now becoming a beautiful reality. The graduation ceremony was simple but meaningful. Millbrook's small community center was packed with families, friends, and supporters. Emma's mother, Margaret, sat in the front row, her health considerably improved, tears of pride glistening in her eyes. Thomas, her longtime friend and mentor, beamed with quiet satisfaction. As Emma's name was called, the room erupted in applause. Her journey was more than just a personal achievement. It was a beacon of hope for everyone who had watched her struggle and persevere. Each step across the stage represented years of early mornings, late-night studying, and unwavering commitment. The local hospital had been watching Emma's progress. Even during her clinical rotations, she had distinguished herself. Her years of caregiving for her mother had given her a unique perspective on patient care. She wasn't just learning medical procedures, she understood the human heart behind every treatment. Immediately after graduation, the hospital offered her a position. Not just any position, but a special role in their patient care unit. Her ability to connect with patients, to understand their fears and hopes, set her apart from other young nurses. Her first day was a whirlwind of emotions. Walking through the hospital corridors in her official uniform, Emma remembered all the challenges that had brought her to this moment. The bakery job that seemed uncertain, the scholarship that appeared impossible, the nights of studying while caring for her mother. Everything had led to this. The patients quickly fell in love with her approach. Emma wasn't just treating medical conditions. She was healing people. She would spend extra moments holding a patient's hand, listening to their stories, offering comfort beyond medical treatment. Her supervisor noted that she brought something special to nursing, genuine human connection. Margaret's health continued to improve, a testament to Emma's care and medical knowledge. The mother-daughter relationship had transformed. Now, Margaret wasn't just a patient, but a proud supporter of her daughter's journey. Thomas remained a constant source of support. He would visit the hospital, bringing her lunch, sharing stories from his school, celebrating her achievements. Their friendship had weathered every challenge, becoming stronger with each passing year. The community of Millbrook took pride in Emma's achievement. The local newspaper ran a story about her journey, a local girl who had overcome financial challenges to become a qualified nurse. Young students began to see her as an inspiration, understanding that dreams could be achieved. Through determination and hard work, Emma didn't stop at her personal achievement. She started a community support group for aspiring healthcare professionals from working-class backgrounds. Every month, she would share her story, offer guidance, and provide hope to those who felt their dreams were out of reach. Her group became a lifeline for many. Students who thought higher education was impossible found hope through Emma's experiences. She helped them navigate scholarship applications, offered study tips, and most importantly, believed in their potential. The sea, near Millbrook, seemed to reflect her journey. Sometimes rough, sometimes calm, but always moving forward. Emma had learned that life was about persistence, about finding beauty in challenges, about transforming personal struggles into collective inspiration. As years passed, Emma became more than just a nurse. She became a symbol of hope, a living testament to the power of dreams, determination, and compassionate care. Her story whispered to everyone who heard it. Limitations are often just illusions we create for ourselves. Her mother would often say, looking at her daughter, "You didn't just become a nurse, you became a healer of hearts." The small cottage where her journey began remained a reminder of her roots, but now it was filled with medical books, achievement certificates, and photographs of patients whose lives she had touched. Emma's life was a beautiful narrative of transformation. From a bakery worker caring for her ailing mother to a respected nurse inspiring an entire community, she had rewritten her own story. And in doing so, she had shown the world the extraordinary power of an ordinary person's extraordinary determination. As the sun set over Millbrook, casting golden light through her hospital window, Emma smiled. Her journey was a reminder that every dream, no matter how distant, is worth pursuing.